there, my wedding planning friends, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thanks so much for clicking on my video. I'm Emily Summer. I'm a wedding planner based in Montana, and I make weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice. Today's video, we're going to talk all about wedding DJs, and I'm actually going to chat with one of my good friends who is a wedding DJ here in Montana. Basically chat about everything wedding music, wedding DJs, and everything your wedding DJ wish you knew. With Sam Dasios, otherwise known as DJ Dasios, and we're going to talk about all things wedding DJing.
Great. So
I've done some videos before all about wedding DJs and kind of the importance that I think wedding DJs hold when it comes to wedding planning. Today I wanted to bring Sam in to go over a little bit more specifics and maybe what to expect from your wedding DJ and kind of get his perspective as a wedding DJ himself.
Perfect.
Welcome.
So thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, as Emily prefaced, I've been working weddings for about 11 years now. Oh my God, 11 years. Time flies by when you're having fun. And I'm really excited for this upcoming wedding season. I know Emily has a few questions here, so how about we get into this, huh?
So formal.
So formal.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on some things that I haven't really talked about in previous wedding DJ videos.
Okay.
And kind of just get your perspective and
Sure.
maybe questions that couples might have for you that you can answer for them in the planning process. But first of all, I know we're in kind of a different climate when it comes to wedding planning and the wedding industry as a whole right now, and I feel like that's probably holds true no matter where you are, not just here in Montana.
Sure.
So right now, what would you say, how far in advance should couples be hiring or booking their wedding DJs?
Oh man, you've seen a crazy shift in this honestly lately. It used to be about 5 years ago you could hit someone up 6 months out and you would be safe. And then starting, I would honestly say around COVID is when the shift started happening.
Like right after or during?
During,
Yeah.
because I would say that 6 months turned into 8 months, which turned into a year now. And now we're looking about probably in that year to year and a half window, but I've personally received 20-25 inquiries already. So it's getting crazier and crazier, but to just wrap that answer into one, we would say about a year and a half.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. That's about the same for wedding planners too.
Yeah.
Pretty much any wedding vendor at this point is like, book everything a year
Yeah,
out
no,
and
seriously.
you'll be safe. It's, yeah, the sooner the better for sure. So when it comes to booking wedding DJ, now this might be somewhat different for each DJ and depending on where you're at and how they kind of operate, but when you're booking a DJ, what should couples expect? Do you have like set packages that they book? Is it like by hour, or what does that process look like?
Sure. So the process goes, you send out a quote. If someone sends an inquiry, you send out a quote, and the quote is very dependent on which month the wedding is in, whether it's peak season, which is June through September, and then how far away from the DJ's home it is. So I mean, for me, for example, based out of Missoula, the pricing is very dependent on how far from Missoula you have to travel.
Right.
So the way it works, you send out they send the inquiry, we send out a quote, and there are packages like Emily said, so it's either 5, 6, 7, or 8 hours for me personally, and the price just depends on that.
Perfect. And then those hours, does that include ceremony time? Is that just reception?
Very good point. Very good point here, as usual, per Emily. By Emily? Per Emily?
Per
Emily. Per Emily. Yes, that was a weird accent. Anyway, we're keeping that in the video. That's not getting edited.
All right.
That's not getting edited. But I would definitely consider your ceremony time when it comes to booking a certain amount of hours, because a lot of people just think of the reception, so they'll think that they'll start during cocktail hour. But what happens during your ceremony? Don't you want, especially if your ceremony is taking place outside and the reception is taking place inside, you want to make sure you have the audio for the officiant. You want to make sure you have the audio for you guys giving your vows. You want to make sure that the wedding party entrance is played through a speaker. You want the bridal march, and then you want the recessional at the end to come out through a speaker. And what happens if you have a live musician playing and they don't have their own equipment? They're going to want to plug into our equipment. So definitely something to consider. If you want audio for your ceremony as well, make sure to book an extra hour for that.
Even if you have like live music or a different music for your actual ceremony. So some people might be thinking, oh, we're gonna have a string quartet for our ceremony. We don't need the DJ. It's a good point to make sure that either they're going to be providing the microphone and speakers for that, or that's something to just make sure that if you have a DJ for the reception,
Sure.
to still have you come early enough that even if you're not supplying music, that you're still there to supply the audio, microphone, speakers, all that.
And a lot of times too, you'll see that quartets and like live musics, they'll have the microphone for themselves and their speaker for that, but they won't have the audio for the actual ceremony. So the efficient, the microphone for the vows and all that. So.
And do you find that it's necessary to have a microphone during the ceremony?
It is. A lot of times people think, oh, we'll be fine, we'll just be loud, but it just doesn't work like that. When you take the elements into consideration, any wind, and then depending on how many rows back your ceremony chairs are, only the people in the front are going to hear. So it is pretty important to have your ceremony mic'd up, yes.
Perfect. Good point. So from the booking process, from the time they hire you to the wedding day, what does that kind of planning process look like? What do they expect? What should they expect from you or a wedding DJ during the planning process and vice versa? Like, what do you expect from them?
Sure. So the way the whole process kind of works, and we'll wrap this up quick. I send out a quote. They respond with how many hours they would like to book for. Send out a contract, send out an invoice. They book. After the booking has happened, I send out a questionnaire, which is pretty detailed. It has a lot of questions as far as all the important music for your wedding goes. And by that, I mean, you know, your bridal march, your first dance, if there's any parent dances, stuff like that. But there's obviously a lot of options there. So a lot of people fill out that questionnaire top to bottom. They mention specific cocktail music they want, dinner music, cake cutting songs, anniversary dance songs, dollar dances, bouquet tosses, garter tosses, everything. So they basically give you like 6 hours of music if they're booked for 6 hours. A lot of other people just send like their important songs. They'll send 5 big songs and they say, you just feel out the crowd the rest of the night, you got it. So that's basically how it works. You send out a questionnaire, and starting 2 weeks out from the wedding, I give them a call, see if they have any questions at all regarding that questionnaire. And then the week before the wedding, the week of the wedding, on that Monday, I'll give them a call and we go over that questionnaire top to bottom. So they already kind of know what's going to happen during the entire night. They're comfortable and they have direct communication with their DJ. They're not just emailing or talking to someone they haven't seen before. So everyone just feels really comfortable going into the big day. So.
Perfect. And that brings up my next point too. It's more than just kind of compiling music and having the music on the day and just pressing play and having the music there. So, and I've talked about this before as well. As a wedding planner, as a coordinator, I work very closely with the wedding DJ, and we're kind of like a team when it comes to executing all of the kind of order of events and the schedule and everything from the time of the ceremony start time to the very end of the night. But when there isn't a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator, do you find, does that kind of fall on you? Does that become kind of your task?
To be honest, a good wedding DJ will do that. So, as Emily mentioned, it takes a lot more than just pressing play, because let's be honest, anyone can make a Spotify playlist, hit play, walk away, and then you're good, right? Not really, though. So a good wedding DJ, in case that there is no incredible wedding planner or coordinator like Emily here, it kind of does fall on us. So we have to make the schedule day of event wise, and obviously starting at the ceremony. Like starting at the ceremony is kind of when we take over. We'll set this out, we'll make all the announcements, we'll figure out a good flow, introductions, dinner, cake cutting, first dance, parent dances, anniversary dance, shoe games, dollar dances, garter tosses, bouquet tosses, and then the reception and all that. So a good wedding DJ will do that and kind of just set the tone for the rest of the day if there's no wedding planner there, yeah. So
that being said, is there anything else, is there anything that you wish you could tell couples before they book you or early in the planning process, or anything that you feel gets like kind of overlooked or forgotten when it comes to wedding music or wedding DJ?
Yes, I will say as far as the entire wedding process for a DJ goes, the most important thing, and you'll find this in every DJ contract and every DJ quote, a lot of times people forget about the shelter aspect. So especially if your ceremony is outside, and the shelter isn't for us, because I mean, we're gonna be fine. It's the equipment. If the equipment gets overheated or any rain falls on it, it's basically gonna shut off and you're not gonna have any audio for the rest of the night. So we definitely always need a power supply, and then we just need shelter. So that's one thing that, and this is on every DJ contract, you'll see every quote, but a lot of times, you know how it is with contracts, people will just go through it, sign, okay, good. So definitely something to consider. Always have shelter for your wedding DJ's equipment, whether you're inside or outside, and a reliable power supply as well. But I would say that's the number one thing right there.
Totally. Have you ever had equipment like shut down on you during a wedding?
Man, about 7 years ago, I would say, They said that the couple did say there was going to be shelter in both locations. It was about 98 degrees, I remember, in Polson. And they said that they had forgotten a tent, and they said the ceremony is only going to take about 15 minutes. You should be fine. They had a power supply. And I said, you know what? Okay, sure. But something that we overlooked is that we always show up an hour and a half to 2 hours early to get set up. So that equipment was out there roasting for about 90 minutes. Right before the ceremony was about to start, boom.
Oh, no.
And there was nothing. So trust me, guys, from experience, please have shade for us. Please. Makes a world of difference. And for us and for you, trust me.
Definitely. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything that I wanted to touch on and ask you. I know I've talked a lot about the importance of a wedding DJ. You know how I feel about wedding DJs, and I love working with a good one like Sam. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe to get weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Sam.
I didn't give you a chance to say